like leaving water out overnight. You know that? Like in the morning before you get up, I'll dump, if you have your cup, that whatever you didn't finish from the night before, the day before, I dump it out. Mine too. So if I leave water in the glass here and it's overnight, I'll dump it out. See, because there's too many vibrational frequencies that fly around at night, you know? You wake up in a bad mood or low vibration, freaking goes dipping in your water, and you take that in, you know? So that's, I always put blessings on the food and the water whenever I prepare it for us. You, me, the dogs. People have a lot of bad, like they could, I didn't believe that people actually did this stuff for a long, long time. But people can actually set wicked intention forth towards you. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly out there. World War III, Ma, is of the spiritual variety. It's about the spirit. It's not about freedoms or liberties is in terms of what people can do in the country where they live. It's the only it's the freedom that they give themselves and what they do with that. Come on, buddy. Over there. Good boy. Good boy. This energy is so weird. It's like the temperature's cooler where I'm at. Where we are. The temperature's cooler, but the energy feels denser. So it actually feels hotter, but the temperature's cooler up here in North New Mexico. Where I'm right up on the 35th parallel, so I just have been trying to take it easy. Today was a good day though. It was a good day. I just came out of a meditate state, so I'm not really fully anchored back into my soul sack. Today was a good day. I had some healing done. I had a cool opportunity to get some healing done, and that felt real good, and I learned a new practice and a new discipline so I can do it on my own. And I heard an interesting story today about my old neighbor. This was kind of a trip. It's so bizarre. I never question it. Whenever the astrologers are talking about the transits where truths be revealed, I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Oh Lord, how is this gonna play out in my life? Let's wait and see. Because I found out, one transit, I found out I was a bastard. A bastard. I found out that you and Greg had got divorced before I got married, and nobody ever disclosed that in my whole entire life. Another time, my sister, last September, my sister got killed, and then I found out like how she was really living her life, and it's probably the best thing that could have ever happened to her. I mean, her kids were we're already in a position. It's like, you know, when people live a certain life, it's only a matter of time before you get that phone call. They're running with the devil. You know, doing all that ego shit, easing God out. Just living that best life, doing what they want when they feel like it. Be damned, you know, all the other responsibilities that they've created for themselves. They don't care. So this one it really opened my heart. So the place we moved in from, my last landlord, she was a big drinker, and we had to move out because her son was getting out of prison, and she was going to move into the trailer that we were living in. He got out of prison for about 2 months before he created a bunch of havoc and frickin' ended up getting arrested again. He was probably going to go back. But I live in New Mexico, so criminals are put back on, hardcore criminals, put back on the street 5 minutes. I mean, he should not have been put. I mean, it's just it's not a very integral place. There's not a lot of heart space of integrity in any of the government facets. Ego has run rampant, and a lot of people just go around doing whatever they want. Accountability, not so much. Things are changing, so we'll see. So she gave me the impression that, like, I don't know, I knew that her mom had died, right? And then I was given the impression that it was of, like, sickness, something like that. Well, where I live now, the landlady that I have now, she came over today and she's like, I want you to, because we talk about the grasp of alcohol. She's sober now also. She's done a lot of terrible things. She was telling me today, and that God has given her was afforded her the grace of not having her remember a lot of the things that she'd done in her drug-induced state. She liked cocaine and shit like that. I don't like narcotics. I'm not a fan of narcotics at all and what they do to people, or the places that people allow narcotics to take them to go, I should say. So she was telling me about this preacher up in Cuesta. Now, that Cuesta is the place that I believe Mom was born, somewhere within 10, 12 miles of Cuesta, New Mexico. It's just a blip, you know? Anyway, so, you want up there, bud? Come on. Come on over here. Come over here. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Good boy, buddy. Good boy. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Come on, hurry up. Good boy. There. And she was telling me about a church, a preacher of a church, and then she went, and she said that he talks about his testimony and what got him back to God. And then she was like, oh, it's so-and-so, my last landlord, it's her brother. And I was like, I remember her talking to me about her brother that had a church. I thought it was in Colorado. I don't know. I just, because she drank a lot, so it's hard to get, like, accurate, because they kind of speak in puzzles a lot of times. But people, too much. I know that because I used to, so I'm speaking from experience of how I used to be. And then I see it in other people, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I recognize that behavior. So, the testimony that this man was talking about, and it's online, I could even share it in the description box if people wanted to hear it. He talks about how he gets in a terrible car accident, and he wakes up in the hospital, and, like, I mean, he's lived here his whole life, so he knows all the police, he knows all, everybody's around him, and he has they're like, you don't know what happened, and he's like, no, and then they proceeded to tell him that he was driving, and he had a head-on collision with a vehicle, and there was a driver killed, and the driver was his mother. So he killed his own mother in a head-on collision in a drunk driving accident. So as soon as he told me that, my heart got soft. I understood why my last landlord is why she is. It makes it real hard to get mad at people when you understand the pain and the suffering in which people come from and the levels that they have to mask. Like people that drink a lot, that's how much pain they got, And then ultimately it gets to the point that your body, it needs the alcohol to sustain itself, as much as it does alcohol or oxygen that you breathe. Or, you know, it starts making you real unhealthy. It freaking pickles you. It does all kinds of crazy. It makes your mind mush. That's what we're seeing now. We're seeing a lot of people that just, think that they're not affected by it, and their minds are mush. And people get to that point. Ultimately they're crapping themselves. They're pissing themselves. They can't control themselves, just because that's what it derived. That's what it ended up at, with the starting point of people just setting the intention to have a really good time, and they can do what they want because they're a grown-ass adult. They really can't, because they can't stop. That's how what a baffling foe alcohol is it'll tell you that it's your best friend, and it did for me for years, and I don't believe it anymore. So I called today's talk The Age Ranger. There's no air power without ground power. That's what they used to always say. No air power without ground. Everybody thinks that their job is the best. Even the dental assistants. Actually, when we had to go to the dentist, they would bring people over from the Iowa School of Dentistry and let them practice on us. A lot of us veterans were just guinea pigs in a lot of ways. We just went to work, and then it was I was a pharmaceutical guinea pig. I was in the anthrax vaccine. I was a case study because not everybody got it. They gave me 4. I got 8 anthrax vaccine in 4 months. You got 2 at a time. It fried my endocrine system. There's only 40% of the people, and this was as of last year. 40% of the people that were involved in the study are still alive. So I've never had any faith in any system. I just went along with it as an end to a means. Well, unlike so many other willing participants, they went along with it all the way to pension, 20, 25 years. They went along with it for a long time. When I was in, the thumbnail that's on the talk today, that's what my career field was. If you see all those, if you zoom in on it and you see all that equipment that surrounds the airplane, that's what I did. We brought the equipment to the airplanes, and then when they use them for their scheduled and unscheduled maintenance, and then we have to refill them and bring them back, and then we had our inspection schedule for every powered and non-powered equipment that we use to service the flight line. And then the last year I was in, I love the synchronicities, right? I was telling someone the other day, I said, you know how they're talking about the Aquarian age and how we're ushering in the new age. Here we are, the new age. We're out of Pisces, and now we're headed, or not Pisces, Capricorn, and now we're heading into the Aquarian age, right? And here in the Air Force, that was my actual job title. I'm an age ranger. So I'm here to usher in the new age too. And it's pretty exciting, I think. They always say, yeah, there's no, we all had to work hard, but the last year, that's not a true story. I really misspoke. Not everybody. Most people in the military don't work hard at all. Most people do as little as they possibly can. Because even if you do nothing and you look like you're doing something, you still get paid as much as the people that fucking bust their ass every day. It's the person. It's no different than getting paid salary and only when the military, we worked 12, 13, hour days every month for a year and just shy of a year and a half. It was over a year. We would practice exercises, right? That just means everybody has to work extra duty. That's all. And then you play war. Um, 1 year for but last year I was in, they were doing the redoing the flight line, excuse me, the taxiway, the runway where the planes take off and land. And the mission that I did, they're the recce planes. They're the spy that listens to all the phones and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, what I was having, in the early 2000s, because I was in from 2000 to 2006, I'm like, dude, they've been fucking eavesdropping on us. They never haven't been monitoring people's conversations and freaking, and then they get to determine who the fucking terrorist is. Hello. Collectively, as the a-hole, it's the freaking United States government going over to other countries, killing people we have no place being in, and come back and having parades for it. It's really weird, but people are so programmed and so controlled that they're like, we just go in and make sure that everybody has freedoms and democracy. And we're going to make sure that everybody, it's like, dude, it's none of our business, man. You know how freaking mad people get when you try to tell. My brother's one of those. I thank you to not tell me how to raise my children. I'm like, you turn your kids over to a school, you have no say in what they're being taught. That's so funny. That's hilarious. And the indoctrination, the programming now is scarier than it's ever been. They're trying to mess with people's mind and get them to freaking change genders and stuff, dude. It's natural for people to wonder what it's like to be the opposite sex at some point. And then now they just like, let's turn it into something twisted and weird. I don't like that at all. God don't make junk. Yeah. My belief system, I got a lot of masculine energy of him I get called sir all the time. I'm like, how? I have boobs. How? I don't look like a sir. I just have a lot of masculine energy, and people, sir, because it's like authority, because I establish a very authoritative presence, and always have. And so I have to act with softer gloves, because otherwise people say, oh, you're scary, or you're aggressive, or it's just more controller words. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're a coward, you're a ninny, you're a whatever. So the last year I was in, I was actually the Toto. The technical order distribution officer. It was Toto for short, and I took care of all the basically the instruction books. We had a maintenance manual. For every maintenance action you had, there was a manual that goes with it. So if you're turning a wrench on the I gotta turn this thing back on. If you're performing any maintenance action, you need to have the technical order open next to you. On the page with the instruction. And it's so stupid. So you gotta read a paragraph, do that step. That's what the fucking military is. The military is all about rules and it's a gigantic psyop. Back in Robert Phoenix was saying back in 2008, when Obama made it legal to do psyops on Americans. Yeah, sure, why not? Fuck them. And so now it's all about, like, dude, marketing is a psyop. Marketing is. They know if you play this music, And well, they don't have malls anymore, but in stores and stuff like that, well, they don't even really have stores anymore. But it makes people shop more. It's I mean, they've been trying to navigate people's behavior for all time, making people act how they want to act, or how they want them to act, and that goes completely against free will. Even though the people have the free will to go with it or not, still, I mean, things are very impressionable. When I was a little girl, mom had shady boyfriends, and this one boyfriend, Larry Hickey, he painted McCall's Dairy Distribution Center in Redding, California. I don't even know if it's still there, if it's still called the same thing, but back then it was McCall's Dairy. Everybody had McCall's ice cream in Redding, and it's a town favorite. And if you're good, you get ice cream for a treat, or if you feel bad, you can eat ice cream to feel better, whatever. And well, he painted part of the building, and they didn't pay him. So he took me and he gave me a little life lesson. He said, if you just act like you belong in a place, people won't question you. You just got to always act like you know what you're doing. Don't look like you're wondering and bobbling and, like you're out of place. So he said, what we're going to do, I was like 7. Basically had me go with them to rob McCall's because he felt like he was owed ice cream. He said, if they're not gonna pay me money, then we're gonna go in and get a couple of handfuls of ice cream, so you're going with me, kid. That's how they do it in the 80s. So why did I tell that? I always carried that with me. It's just act like you know what you're doing. You're supposed to be there, and people leave you alone. And I've really come to find out that that's true. There is a lot of truth to that. And I never go around. I don't go around. It breaks my heart to see what people are doing, man. They're going around all this thieving. We are living in Babylon. Man, Babylon is here. This is the end of times. This is the end of days. This is all the stuff that it's like, you better find a freaking higher power outside of yourself. Because, go ahead. Don't. If you don't. You don't have to. You don't have to find a higher power. You don't have to come to good orderly direction. Nobody has to do any of that. As we can see, self-will is running rampant all over the planet. So, as I see it, people are going to keep doing what they want. I'm going to keep seeing more and more accidents, more and more oops, more and more people feeling sped up because of the shamanic resonance and the earth changes. I mean, just because people don't get like disaster notifications and know the extent of all of the earth changes that are happening right now, between fires all over the world, volcanoes, landslides, man. What was it, 3 days ago? I don't look at it all the time, but I get notifications, and I scrolled over to the app to open it up. There was like 458 notifications for maybe a 36-hour period. So just because, though, people don't know that that's happening, you are a being on this earth. So you may not know it, you know it. Everybody on this planet knows something's up. However it plays out in their life, however it manifests in their life. So, I'm more cautiously optimistic than I was. I've had I don't know what transit I just went through for like the last 9-12 days or so. I don't know what exactly, but that energy had been so stagnant, and this is the first day that I didn't wake up with like the quickening. And going and having the healing, I feel pretty positive about things and about my future for me personally and my spiritual growth. It's a trip out there, man. What did I do with my phone? Because I didn't even like that song that was just on. Oh, here it is. I'm seeing the neighbor told me about that jelly roll a while back, a couple months ago or whatever it was. So I looked at, maybe it was a month, maybe it was, it's maybe, I don't know. Time is so weird, man. Time goes by so fast. I got up this morning at like 4:30. 5 is before 5, and I like morning time because it's so quiet. And then I was like, oh God, what's the day? Oh, it's the night. Oh my goodness, the love is back. I felt the love lot. Oh, is that what it was? I think maybe that's what it was. The time that the duration is longer than 9 days. I think it was longer than 9 days. I feel like it was the duration of Venus retrograding in Libra. I feel like I got Libra, or not Libra, Leo. And so that energy, that was a hard transit for me. That was a lot of going within. I didn't like it. I'm glad it's over. And now she's a morning star. I didn't get to see her this morning. I did take Artie out early, and I have this app that I use. It's called Sky Guide. It's called Sky Guide. And that when you open it up, that's what it looks like. That's what it has, all these little stars. That's what the little logo is. That Sky Guide. And then when you open it up, it has a compass. See? I don't have, but see? So this is where all the stars are. There's the horizon. And then these are all the constellations in the sky. And then it shows the stars and the planets where they're sitting and what part of the animal that it's in. And then you got to find out the interpretation of what that means and how it fits into your world. So what I believe is, where's that? Let me X out of that. Did they update it? Tonight, partly cloudy. The moon occults Aries on Thursday. Asteroid Flora is at opposition. Then it gives you little bunches of whatever is coming up. Where's my... What did they do? Hold on. Compass off. Okay, I can turn. I got to turn the compass off. So here's an example. It's too many lights. No, it's not gonna work. I need a I don't want to do that on this one, but I want a desktop. Oh, I look down. I point the phone and it looks down and it's at Phoenix. It's looking at Phoenix. That's funny. I don't want the time. I don't understand what's happening. Where's my... See, this is why I as a profession, I'm in IT, right? But I stopped using stuff because it doesn't do what I want it to do. The programmers go off because they're all fucking having, they're all in the Aquarian energy too. And it's like, They ain't. I mean, it's bizarre. So okay, here. This is what I was looking for. I stand corrected. I was totally wrong. What I was doing was I was looking. I look in that for my stars, and then for my astrology, I use Astro for Future, which is a different app. And so, but on Astro Future, this is what I. Why are you growling? Stop growling. You don't need to growl. He's just standing there getting pets. You crabby old biddy. This one gives you the whole galaxy. And then you can tilt it and look at the planets and the stars like that, right? There you go on the sun. You can click on the sun, and then it says the sun is the star at the center of the solar system and is the most important source of energy for life on Earth. The sun reveals the true essence of a person, their innermost self, and what is most important to them. It also reflects their overall energy and assertiveness, setting the tone for their being and influencing everything else. My son, when I was born, it was in the constellation of Aries. I'm fun. So, I'll get it for you in a minute, buddy. He knows what time he gets his pills. So what how I think of it is whenever, you know how Ben Davidson from Space Observers, he talks about the solar blast, right? We get the CMEs. Okay, I'm gonna take this a little bit. Okay, what I look at is wherever they blast, I'm like, which way did they head, right? And then I come here and then see, because I want to see when the CMEs go. It's like they blast at the planets, right? Here's a storyline. The sun, how people are. Here's a storyline. CME, data, information. It's stored and contained and travels in light, right? Osmosis, all that stuff. All the woo-woo stuff that people say doesn't exist, it all does. Everything is woo-woo. People get it twisted. They're just too busy living that 3D life, you know. There's more to life than that monetary, materialistic shit. And people are going to find that out if they keep tuning in to people like me. I literally have the ability of telekinesis. I have shown people this all over. From Oregon, when I discovered that I had it a few years ago. I've shown it on YouTube. And when I meet people out in the world, I'm like, you want to see my lighter trick? And then I encourage them to try it themselves. I have yet to hear if anybody has ever done it. You could try it at home. Everything is energy. Cooperation is nature's way, even if it's the lion eating the antelope. It's nature's way. The antelope, being slow, is gonna get caught by the lion. It's unwillingly cooperating with the lion, will go on and live another day until he gets old. And then ultimately he falls off, you know, because we all become obsolete. Some of us have been obsolete way longer than others. My train of thought just derailed. Where was I going with that? Maybe it'll come back. So, I don't even have any music on. Oh, my ability of telekinesis. But it's about, anybody can try it. I learned it from watching a YouTube video, actually, because I saw a kid do it. Only that what he moved is he grabbed a coconut and he put it on a log. I haven't tried it with the coconut. He put it on the log, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, it's the fluid inside. It's the fluid inside. And I thought, what could I try that? Because I don't remember them having a lot of coconuts in the produce department when I lived in Oregon, but it had to be a coconut because of the fluid inside. But I thought, I'm gonna try it with the lighter. because it's the same principle. There's fluid inside. It has an oblong shape. It has a shape. So when I do it, and so the first time I did it, I said, Mom, I said, here, hold this. And Mom stuck her hand out. I got a janky, I'm a club of the janky pinky club. People that I have like kindred spirits with, I've noticed they got janky pinkies. I got mine from a shard of glass breaking and sliding down, and I had to get stitches down there, 4 stitches, when Mom went camping with her boyfriend one time. I got in trouble for it. We were drunk, and I dropped a plastic bowl. I was holding a glass bowl. A plastic bowl began to fall, and instead of letting the plastic bowl just go, I dropped the glass bowl to catch the plastic bowl, and the glass bowl hit the shelf, and a shard went down there. So, anyway, get a lighter. You just balance it like that, right? And it's the fluid inside. It's going left. Let's see if I get it go. And I do this. I'll get it to come off. And I've done this for people all over. It's the fluid inside. So, I encourage people to try this stuff. See, that's how I know that. Ever since I was a little kid, I was like, I tried the spin spoons. I remember going, and trying so hard with everything I had, trying to force it, you know, like, this is a terrible example. It's just like when people get constipated and they push really hard. I'm like, oh my God, see, Mom actually had that. She used to do that. She didn't learn how to breathe through pain. She learned how to push through pain. And there's a difference. Huh, Mom? But when I was born and my brother was born, it wasn't normal birth. We were both cesarean, so she didn't do you didn't do Lamaze and all that, did you? You didn't do all the breathing and stuff. You never learned that. So, later on, when I was, I think 6, I had my learner's permit because I had to drive her to the hospital. She went and had a bowel movement, and she pushed too hard, and her frickin' rectum became inverted. She basically, she shit out her asshole is what she did. And then, like, I've seen it on comedy shows where that's happened. The doctor actually told me that it happens a lot in people in her generation because of all the sodomy that had happened back in the early. I'm like, early days, man, that shit still happens. I'm 15, 16-year-old girl. I'm not in the presence of adult. I'm there with my mom, and this is the stuff that people tell me. I don't want to know these truths. They're given to me. Then I share. And people go, you're so negative. I'm like, I did not ask for any of the stuff that I ever talk about. Except for the stuff that I bring on myself when I'm living from my ego. So, sunblast it goes towards the planet. It activates that planet in our chart. And then we feel our energized, activated, our energy field. And then whether it's a quickening, like, ooh, I feel good, or ooh, this is a low period, we have the free will how we show up in life to live for God, good orderly direction, or for ourselves, buying all those fast cars. Dude, it is a trip. When I was 16... my parents were not buying me $60,000, $80,000, $90,000. What the fuck is that about? these kids with these expensive cars, and then they're drag racing in every city all over the United States, and it's like they're what the I'm sorry, kids, that your parents failed you by letting you have the impression that you can go through life wreaking havoc and doing whatever the fuck you want because they want to be your friend and don't want to discipline you or tell you what you're doing is wrong, because then they would have to look at their own behavior and admit where they have been wrong in their lives, and they don't want to do that. So, and I've seen it. Where I remember seeing it is when I was in junior high. I didn't dress like a girly girl. I always wore shorts and a t-shirt. I've been wearing shorts and a t-shirt my whole life. And I remember when, like, junior high, freshman year, that kind of thing, like when the girls really started getting, hormonal about the boys were already, but when they like started like catching up and syncing up and they started wearing the really short shorts. It's every generation does it. It's just like a rebellion thing, whatever. I'm gonna wear shorts so short. I'm gonna show people that I'm gonna be an independent person by letting my ass hang out. Right? But don't ever tell nobody. And then it's like oftentimes it is a sore sight to see. And people know how train wrecks are. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. I'm not looking because I think it's I'm looking because it's like I'm going down the psychology of the history of like why would you want to dress like that? Why would and then it's like, oh, that's right, because when they don't want to be hypocrites. So rather than learn from behavior, it's like, you know what, I dress like that. And you know what happens when you dress like that? You're going to get a lot of attention. And a lot of that attention you're not necessarily going to want. And you're going to have your boundaries because your parents taught you about them. And you can tell people, hey, I'm not a sexual object. I'm just dressing like that because I feel good. There's a lot of people out there that don't have no self-restraint. They don't got no, and if they want something, they're gonna take it, and that's the world we're coming to. So I think it would behoove a lot of guardians out there to start teaching more self-respect, and stop giving people the impression that they're gonna gain respect through being sexually active, and like the more people like you, the more sex you have. The more sex you have, the more STDs you have, or susceptibility for all kinds of dirty shit. Because you're not just doing the fucking, Chuck, you're also merging energies. So you're having an encounter with every single fucking person energetically that person has had an encounter with. And you get all kinds of nasty energetic bugs and viruses and tendencies and all kinds of freaking energetic critters with that shit. That's all right, because there's plenty of Terminators out there. There's plenty of people that can help other people get rid of their energetic dissidents, help degauge you a little bit. The trouble with that is it takes work. It takes work. I live in Taos, man. There's healers all over the place. But somebody like me can't go in and be like, hey, can you heal me? I was give them a laundry list of all the stuff that I need to be healed from. And I'll be like, okay, that'll be, and then they'll give me a price. And I'll be like, but money isn't real, but my pain is. It's not backed by anything. I have all these things to offer, but they would still turn me away likely because they're not getting paid. And I'm like, well, you're not really a healer, are you? You're a business person. Foremost. And that's all of them. All of them. And that's when I call phooey. I don't believe in your medicine because it costs too much. Same thing with art, man. Same thing with art. I see some freaking basic kindergarten shit in the windows all over Taos in their studios and shit. Now my buddy, my homie, he's a stone carver. And that's a lot different. I need to start doing that more. I got it. It's right there. This is gonna be an owl. gonna make this an hour. And I sanded it down real good. I'm a moony bitch. Depends on where the moon. I'm an energetic sensitive, man. I am highly, highly susceptible to energy. Yeah, and it sucks because I still have to push through. I still have to. There's still stuff that I got to do every day. My neighbor, she was telling me her mom's 96 years old, and and her mom's not eating. And then she was telling me this morning or this afternoon how she wakes up and she's like, "I'm so tired. I don't want to do this anymore." And I have days like that. And I got to tell her, I said, "You know what?" I said, "I haven't had a day off in 6 years. The only ways that my days have been different, because I try so hard to keep things as normal and as comfortable for mom as I possibly can, is the only days that have been different are the days that we had to move from freaking Salem, Oregon to Flagstaff, Arizona to Taos, New Mexico. And I didn't have... I had the support of the universe. People? No. God's always given me the strength to get through the difficult situations in my life. And now there's more and more difficult situations that other people are facing and coming up to. And I'm here to help usher in the spiritual triage for the people that have a hard time with that, because there's going to be a lot of people that have a hard time with the reality of things, how things are. Because it's going to burst a lot of bubbles. And then here comes the wave. So... man, time goes by fast. It's already 47:47. I'm talking to myself, yeah. Oh, my earth angel's there. I'm glad that the energies... see, there's people in my life. That's why I keep track of people. Even if I don't talk to them, I'll check in on them energetically through social media. Energetically, through social media, just to see. I mean, I can tell where somebody is at if just seeing how often they post, like, kind of thing. I don't know. I'm like an energetic Columbo, man. I just live to figure it out. And I'm really intrigued by what motivates people to behave and choose the behavior that they choose. I don't know, it keeps me curious. It does. And I told the lady, because when she came out, I'm a psychic intuitive, and so if something like weighs on me, I'll ask about it. So something's been weighing on me today, and or recently, because like our year is up, and that we've been here a year in November, and I'm like, people do weird shit, and our lease is up, and so I'm thinking, mom's dehydrator, her thing, it ran out of water, so it was flashing. And so I was like, and I don't get along with her son. That don't mean I don't want to have to look for. I mean, if there's something else that opens up, that's one thing. But I don't want to have to move. So when I saw her, I said, "Are you gonna make me like? Are we gonna have to move when our lease is up?" And she looked at me like with a look of shock, like how, like, where did that come from? And she was like, no, I just want to keep the peace. She doesn't want me fight. So, but I started praying for him a couple weeks ago, because I just, after the window broke, and he has like all these people that live with him, and it's just more, whenever I get uncomfortable, That's God telling me you're grounded too much on the earth, you care too much about shit. It's none of your business, let it go. Your role is to be kind to everybody. Even the people you think are scumbags, you judgmental moony bitch. That's your role. And I did some muscle testing today. I say, am I supposed to freaking just be good to? I'm like I'm not. What is this the direction? I'm gonna be some peachy, some pasture lady, you know? Is that the role that I'm evolving into? Is that? And yep, that was my knowing. I got to put down the rocks and step into my heart. And it's funny because when I moved in, she said, I don't want any tarot cards in there. I said, I don't have tarot cards. I don't, that's not really, I mean, I used to listen to, I said, but that's not my thing. You know, there's plenty of other knowings I get. I don't need a deck of cards. But when I went this morning and met Batman for some healing, he had, now there's, tarot is one thing, and then there's like cards with meanings. But they're not tarot. There's tarot, and then there's all the other stuff. So it wasn't a tarot deck. And we went to the soccer field in town, and we just pulled in there. And he takes out this deck and he goes, shuffle it. No, oh shoot. I forgot to tell the cool story before that about how the hummingbird came to see me 2 days in a row. I got a picture of one yesterday. I always hear them. They come up, and I hear them, and then I'm like, okay, where are you? Oh, there you are. So the one was yesterday, and then this morning at the crack of dawn, I was let dogs walk around, and I heard one, and there was one like right here within arm's reach. It was like right here, and it was whoo, and I heard, because their wings spin like bumblebee wings. They don't flap up and down, so that's why they make that sound. And so he was, and I was like, well, hello, good day to you, Venus is back. Because I just had my app out, but it was below the mountain line, so I don't see it yet. So as fall comes and Venus rises higher in the sky, then I'll be able to see it, maybe the next couple days. I didn't see her, but she's right there. I could feel the love. She's coming back. She's come back. She's been gone for a few weeks. Love lost. Love lost. Venus is in the night sky. Love lost in the morning. So, the hummingbird came up, and then I watched him as he flew off, and then he went into the trees, and I lost. But I watched him as he was flying, like, in my eyesight line, directly in my eye line, and then he was gone. And I was like, that was really cool. And so when I went with Batman this morning to the soccer field, and we're sitting there, he's like, he takes out a deck. He's like, I want you to shuffle these. I said, I know the routine. I said, I don't do it, but I played a lot of cards when I was a little girl, So I shuffled it, and I just went 1, 2, 3, and 2 cards popped out right next to each other. And the first one was number 26. Whatever, I can't even remember what the deck was called or anything like that. I should have got a picture of that, actually. I did actually get the picture of the first card that I drew. And it's number 26, Joy, and it's hummingbirds. And I had my orange pants on today, and his head's orange, and oh, you could see my orange pants under the car. I had my orange pants on, so I was like, and then the second was, I can't remember, I think it was number 10, and it was the Hall of Records, so I kind of I have a feeling that, see, my Chiron is in Aries in the 10th house, and that's career, legacy, all that jazz and stuff. So next year, I'm at the precipice. I'm at the very beginning of my Chiron return. So I'm cautiously optimistic. That's it. And I don't. The world can. It's no for the, nothing has changed in the world from me and mom. It's always been out there. How we respect. And the reality of it is the world is really in each of and every one of us. Based on how we are inside, how much balance, clarity, our own personal constitution, that's what the world is. So as much as, I always got to be careful about, the world's never too evil. It's never too evil. There's always plenty of love and goodness in it, because I'm never too evil. Bad stuff happens. People do terrible things all the time, every day. Sometimes without the aid of even any drugs or alcohol. Sometimes people are just touched by wickedness. Some people just are that way. It's their experience. It's what people do with that. I keep seeing all this stuff with the fire in Hawaii. See, everybody gets the chance to see. They've been setting fires and doing these weird fires. They practiced on California for years. In Hawaii, in Maui, they kept going on. It happens to one community, and then nobody. It's like, unless it happens to you, people don't really give a crap. But as soon as it's why I grew up in Redding. I saw a reel the other day of this dumb broad from Redding, California, that was bitching and moaning because they canceled her and her husband's vacation to Maui because of the fires. They're like, what? We were right across the street from the car fire. They didn't stop everything. And I was just like, see, that's what happens is even when situations happen, people either become more apathetic or empathetic. People become more entitled or like, hey, whatever is good for everybody. It ain't happen naturally. It's going to happen with more disaster. It could happen naturally, but people would rather buy their freaking stupid Teslas and freaking have all their stupid, live that van life and, in Mercedes vans that cost $180,000 and all that freaking. They try lives on. It's like Life Library. I'm going to live life like this for 3 years. Because I can't, and it's like, while you're doing that, how are you helping other people along the way? People haven't been helped. Generosity, rest in peace. I'm not saying it's dead all in its entirety. I said rest in peace, but like as a collective, people have become more withholding. They're going more because they're so fearful. People are going within. And they're not finding the light. They're embracing the shadow, the fear. And that's where the darkness is. And then when people act from a place of fear, I've been trying so hard to just, whenever I start getting scared, I picture living from my heart. Like navigating, like my heart is out here and I'm letting it lead. And then that keeps me from responding and reacting is a better word. I'm very responsive. My military bearing was so, I couldn't be swayed. I've been talking an hour. This thing goes off after an hour. But ever since those stupid vaccines, I freaking get so worked up. I cry all the time. It's better to cry and get stuff out than hold that in. That's how people get cancer. People get sick because they don't get all the freaking, all the stuff, all the crazy stuff, all the, they keep it all encapsulated within their body, and then it's like they're never gonna tell how they really think or feel about people, so they got to do things to compensate the negative feelings of never gonna tell how they, like how many parents can't stand their kids. It's like they have these kids, but they can't freaking stand them. I think people could understand their children a lot more if they freaking knew what they're, read your birth chart right from the, hey, this is what the potentials are. Are you going to help this child grow or are you going to hinder? And how many kids are their whole lives are premeditated? That is so much pressure. Oh, you're going to do this because this is how I always envisioned your life. You envisioned my life before I was even born? How am I supposed to live a happy life when you already have it planned out for me? I ask everybody when their birthday is. And then I ask them like when, like what their sibling signs are, and did I get the whole dynamic? It's cool. I wish I could put into animation how I pitch. It's the closest thing I've seen to it is that show The Good Doctor, where he visualizes like the body, and I do that with everything. Hi Stanley, what you doing, Stanley cat? Meow meow, kitty meow. I got him a can of wet food. I call it his stinky butt juice because it gives him the runs. He loves it, man. He loves it. Cats get the runs, man. Is that we do? Doesn't mean I'm not a good boy in the kitty bits. He's a big boy, huh? You're so pretty, cat, meow. Stanley, you're not in the mood. You're not in the mood. You say goodnight? Say goodnight. So I hope folks are doing good out there. I wish people would I wish people would comment more about like what it's like in the places they live. That's why I do this. I want feedback. It ain't happening yet. That's all right. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. We could only hope, huh, Ma? You good today? Mom ate good today. Oh, that's what I was starting to say, is that that lady wakes up every day and she's like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. It's, all this stuff. And I go through periods where I wake up feeling that way. Like, I can't, 6 years is a long time to live. And that's what I told her. So maybe she's like, here, and she's like, listen to me. She's like, here, I'm complaining, And she got her mom out, and they went to like see her mom's sister, like where they went out, and then she ate at Denny's. She goes out, but they can't get her. And I said, that's because she's feeling on you. She knows that you're exhausted, and people don't want to be a burden. They can feel the burden that they are. And the world is only going to become more sensitive. That's why more people are going to start drinking, because they're not going to be able to handle the sensitivities. They're going to want to dull it. So, either you got to deal and feel, get real, or check out. There's a lot of things coming that I'm not excited about. So I got to focus more on the stuff that I am. Live more local. Where I just encourage people, hey, if you're out there, come check out Taos. We'll hang out. I'll show you around. I know that I know some way more interesting characters. And then Mom was born around here. That's why they say the mountain calls people back here. Mom was born here because God wants her to be where she wasn't allowed to grow up. Because when she was born, I'm going to talk to the church people. I'm going to start asking them, because churches take good records and see, because that's not a common thing. It happens. I wonder what the statistic is. I'll look it up. I never looked it up. The number of people that are born with 2 club feet. And especially in New Mexico in 1950. So she don't want to know. I'm just like, it's just, I don't even really care. It doesn't do anything. I see the way people treat their family. My own family has thrown me away time and time again. I mean, every mom, brother, and father, all three at some point says just because we're related doesn't mean I have to love you. So I didn't come from a freaking nice, cuddly place. That's why I'm so nice and cuddly, because I know how much it sucks. Anyway, that's about all I got for now. If you hung out, thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a rad day. Peace.